Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video in the Java series. This time we're going to continue our discussion on reflection, and we're going to invoke methods, constructors, and change fields using reflection in Java. Hopefully you saw last episode where I showed you the basics of reflection, how to access a class at runtime, and how to get details on the class, like the methods, the constructors, and the fields. Make sure you go ahead and watch that. If you haven't, then go ahead and watch it. It should be the video right before this one in the Java series. Besides that, let's go ahead and make a new Java class to start with so we can test our skills on. And we're going to call this one llama. Last time it was called dog, so I think llama is a nice way to continue this. Anyway, so we're going to give it some basic properties. So private string name, private integer icount, private string color, and private boolean is alive. And let's give it a constructor so that we can create it. So public llama string name integer icount string color boolean is alive. Okay, cool. So this dot name is equal to name, this dot icount is equal to icount, this dot color is equal to color, this dot is alive is equal to is alive. There we go. So now we have a constructor, so we can create instances of this class now. We could have done it before with the default constructor, but there we go. Anyway, so let's also have some getters and some setters for these properties that we have. So public getter and setter, generate all of these here. There we go. Now let's give it some other methods that we can work with here. We'll have one public and one private one. So we'll do public void spit. Llamas, I think, are known for spitting on people and other stuff. So I think a spit method is really fitting in this case. So we'll say spit. I guess llamas really like spitting, huh? There we go. And we'll have another one, a private one. So private void fart. Legend has it that llamas also fart a lot. So let's have a fart method. There we go. So now we got a very basic llama class with some basic properties, some getters and some setters, and two methods we can use to test out the method invocation. Okay, so let's go back to the main here and let's see what we can do. So first things first, we need a class reference variable of the thing that we want to use reflection on. So we're going to do class llama class is equal to, and we can either declare a new instance of llama and get the class reference from that, or we can just grab it from the class itself, so llama.class. And the reason we're not going to get it from an object is just because what we're going to do is try making an object using reflection, which is a kind of a cool concept, right? So instead of making the object using your code, well, it's still going to be using code, obviously, but instead of doing it the normal way with code, we're going to do it dynamically at runtime using reflection, okay? So to do that, let's see what we can do. So we'll do llama class dot, and right away we can see that we have a get constructor method for us to work with. So tab and then control Q to see what it's about. It says returns a constructor object that reflects the specified public constructor of the class represented by this class object. The parameter types parameter is an array of class objects that identify the constructor's formal parameter types in declared order, blah, blah, blah. So you can read into that if you want to. So it's pretty simple. If you do control P here, it's asking for a references of the different parameter types. So we know if we look at our class here that a llama has 4 different parameter types: a string, integer, string, boolean. So we can simply go back here and do string.class, integer.class, string.class again, and then boolean.class. So we're just getting the class reference for each of those data types. And there we go. And so we have a problem here. It says unhandled exception, no such method exception. Of course, that'll be thrown if the constructor does not exist. So what it's going to do is it's going to try getting a constructor instance or a reference from this by trying to look inside of the class and see if there's any constructors with this parameter type of list, okay? So as you can see, if you do control Q again, it returns a constructor reference. So constructor, and now we can store that. There we go. So let's store that and then import constructor. So now that we have a constructor instance, or rather a reference variable of a constructor type, what we can do is invoke it to come up with a object, right? Because what are constructors for? They're for creating objects of a class. So that's exactly what we can do using this now that we have a constructor reference. So we can do constructor dot new instance, control Q. It says uses the constructor represented by this constructor object to create and initialize a new instance of the constructor's declaring class with the specified initialization parameters. Individual parameters are automatically unwrapped to match primitive formal parameters, and both primitive and reference parameters are subject to method invocation conversions as necessary. All right, so I think you get the point. So new instance, if we do control P to show the parameters, it's asking just for the parameters that we want to pass in to this constructor. So let's just give it some dummy data. So we'll do, so we know the first thing is going to be the name of the llama. So Bob 2 red, and what else? Oh, and is alive, so we'll say true. So our llama is alive currently, at least. So now what that should do is create a object of this class of llama. So if this is successful, it should return a object of the llama class, because that's the constructor invoking class that we're working with here. So if we do, if we hover over this, it says unhandled exceptions, and we got a bunch of exceptions that we should handle. So add exceptions to signature. There we go. And you can handle those if you want to, but we know for sure that this is going to work because we know ahead of time that our constructor does have this type, parameter list type, and then also what we need to put inside of there. But if you were to do something more dynamic where you don't know it ahead of time, you're kind of like guessing or something like that, then it would probably make more sense to actually try catching the exceptions if they occur, okay? Anyway, so what does this return? Control Q. It's going to return an instance, or it's actually a generic type here. So of course, it depends on what the invoking object type is or class type it is. So we know it's a llama, so we can simply store it in a llama reference. So llama is equal to that, and we can cast it to a llama. Boom. There we go. So now we have a llama stored into this, a llama object stored into this llama reference variable. So now we can use it. So let's try printing this out just to see if it actually works. So first, let's go ahead and make a toString method so we can actually print out the object. So toString, boom. Now we can go back and do sout llama like that. Let's see what happens. There we go. So we get llama, name name Bob, I count to color red, and is alive to true. There we go. So now we have a llama, and we're able to dynamically construct it using the constructor reference that we have grabbed using reflection from the class reference. Now let's try method invocation, so we can try invoking methods of the class. So let's try invoking the spit method of the llama class. So we'll do llama class dot, and we have get method, and you can read up on the documentation if you want to by doing control Q. So just press tab, and then for the parameters, first it's going to want the name of the method that you're trying to get, and then second it's going to want the parameter types list array, just like we did for the constructor here. So it just wants the data types of the parameters, okay? So in this case, we're doing a spit method, so we'll do spit, there we go. And if we go ahead and look at spit, it's not asking for any parameters right here. It's not asking for any parameters, so we don't need to provide anything, because if we do control P, this is a var args parameter type, so you don't have to provide any. If you don't want to, you can leave it how it is. There we go. So that should return a method, right? Yep, it returns a method, so we can store that. So method is equal to llama class.getMethod, and let's import method. Import method. There we go. So now that we have the method reference, we can do something similar to what we did with the constructor a second ago. We can do method.invoke. So we're invoking the method that we have grabbed using reflection. So if we look at the parameter list here, it has two things. Well, actually a couple of things. At first, it has the object, which is the object that you're going to use to invoke this method. In this case, we can use llama, which we just created using the constructor. Also, it has this var args parameter here, which is just the parameters that you can pass in if there are any. So we can do invoke llama, which is just the object that we're invoking it upon. And then, of course, again, there's no parameters, so we don't need to pass anything in if we don't want to. So now it says we have invoke here, and it doesn't return, well, it returns an object, but we don't really need to do anything with that. So let's try running this and see what happens. There we go. So now it says spit into the console because it's calling the spit method of the llama class. But what happens if the method is private? What do we do then? So let's try this out. So let's comment this out and try accessing the private fart method that we have here. So we'll do method is equal to llama class dot get method fart, and we don't need any parameters or types because there's no parameters. And then we'll do method dot invoke llama, and let's see what happens when we run this. So we get exception in thread main java.lang no such method exception me.codysimpson.llama.fart. So you may guess what the problem is. It's kind of similar to what I showed last episode. We're calling get method, but that doesn't return a private method. So we want to do get declared method. So that's going to actually grab one of the private methods of this class that we have here. So get declared method fart. And now it says a new exception. This time it says exception thread in main. Illegal access exception class me.codysimpson.main cannot access a member of class me.codysimpson.llama with modifiers private. So in this case, you might be a little confused like I was when I first saw this. I expected that because we're using reflection, it wouldn't matter if it's private or not if we want to invoke this. But in this case, it actually does matter because by default, it does follow the default laws of Java language, so which states that you cannot call a private method outside of the class itself. So what we can do is method dot set accessible and true, and this method says control Q says set the accessible flag for this reflected object to the indicated boolean value. A value of true indicates that the reflected object should suppress checks for Java language access control when it is used. A value of false indicates that the reflected object should enforce checks for Java language access control when it is used, with the variation noted in the class description. So what that really means is that it's going to ignore the typical Java language rules, which means that we can call this private method using reflection. So let's run this and see what happens. And boom, there we go. We get fart because we have called the fart method of the llama class. I want to show you how we can make this more dynamic. So let's say that you want to grab all of the methods of a class and call them without knowing what their names are ahead of time. So let's say that you want to scan a class and then call their methods without knowing what they're named. So that'd be even more dynamic because you don't have to worry about knowing what the class is ahead of time. Okay, so for example, if it's not your class, you haven't coded it, and you're accessing it using reflection, you're probably not going to know what the methods are of that class, especially the private methods. So you can go ahead and do this. So let me show you. So we can do method array methods is equal to llama class dot get methods. Actually, in this case, we want to do get declared methods so we can get the private ones as well. And so from there, we can loop through that. Method, methods. And so for each of these, we want to go ahead and try invoking them. So we only want to invoke it, in this case, if the parameter list is 0, because if it's not 0, then we have to figure out what the parameter types are, and then also we have to figure out what parameters we want to pass in. So to avoid worrying about that for now, let's go ahead and just invoke only the ones that have a parameter list of 0. So we can do if method dot get parameter count is equal to 0, then we can go ahead and invoke it. So method dot invoke llama, which is the class, the object that we created up here using the constructor, and then we can pass in as well and we don't need to pass anything else because there's no parameters. So boom, there we go. And what's the problem here? Oh yeah, method's already declared, so we can just comment this out. There we go. Boom. And now let's run this and see what happens. In this case, we get an exception. It says exception in thread main, illegal access exception, and we saw that a second ago. So all we have to do is do method.set accessible to true, and that's going to ignore the private modifier. And now we can run it. So spit and fart, and it is running these other ones here. The reason nothing is coming up in the console is because they only return values. They don't print anything out. So they are being run, rest assured, but nothing is printing out just because they don't print out anything themselves. So let's see if we can test that out. So we'll do method. We'll just cut this, so S out, boom, and let's see what that prints out. Aha, so there we go. Now we get all of the values returned from all these getter methods. So we get Bob, llama, true, red, fart, null, spit, null, and 2. Awesome. Okay, so the final thing I want to show you is how to change the values of a field of a class. So let's get rid of all of this here. So you already know how to access the fields of a class because of last episode. So how do we change the values of a field? So first let's get actually a field. So first let's get a field reference of the field that we want to change. So field is equal to, we'll call it I field. So we want to access the I property of this class here, or member, what field, whatever you want to call it. So field I field is equal to llama class dot get field I count, because that's a field. And let's import that, and let's also handle the exception. So now that we have that, we can do iField.set, and we can set it. So if we do Control Q, it says sets the field represented by this field object on the specified object argument to the specified new value. So what that really means is that it's going to use this object that was provided as the first parameter and set the field on that object to the new object that was provided as the second parameter. So let's try this out. So we'll do set llama, and then the new value for this field that we're replacing is going to be 30. 30, there we go. So by default it's 2, and we're going to change it to 30. And let's print this out to see if it actually changes. So we'll do s out llama, and then down here after we change it we'll do s out llama. There we go. Let's run this. So we get an exception. It did print out the first time, but after that we get an exception on line 20, which is this one here. So hopefully it's obvious why this is happening. So we're calling get field here, not get declared field, which only works on public methods. So, or fields rather, sorry. So if we call a get declared field, it's going to be able to access those private fields as well. So we'll get declared field and pass in I count, and that should return the right one. And we're going to get a new exception. Watch this. Boom. So now we get a legal access exception, which we know all about. So all we have to do is do iField.setAccessible to true. And again, the reason we have to do that is just because llama iCount is a private field, so we have to make it ignore the rules of the Java language. So now let's run this for a final time and see it should work. So yeah, there we go. We get llama name Bob iCount2 color red is alive true, and then we get llama name Bob iCount30 color red is alive true. So that's how you access a field and then set it to a new value for an object. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this episode. I showed you how to invoke constructors, methods, and change fields using reflection in Java. If you have any questions, be sure to ask. I'll leave a link to our Discord in the description below so you can check it out and then join and, get some friends, ask for help, just hang out. It's a pretty cool community, so make sure to join that. And also I'll leave the link to the code for this episode so you can check it out and bookmark it for future reference in case you need it. In case you forget how to do something, you can come back to the code later on. And the final thing is, if you want to become a member on this channel, you can click the join button below this video, and you can join the channel as a member for as low as 99 cents a month, $5 or $10. So you can cancel at any time. You get some cool perks like early access to all of my new videos, a rank on my Discord server so you can feel swaggy, and also you get to see yourself on the screen like you see right now. So thanks to everyone who's watching my videos, and whoever is a member, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And that's it. So if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and peace.